One of the most astonishing claims to emerge recently involves the alleged discovery of underground tunnels beneath Diddy's Los Angeles mansion in the upscale Holmby Hills neighborhood. Reports circulating in the media and online suggest that the FBI, acting on an anonymous tip from neighbors, uncovered a tunnel system starting under the carpet in Diddy's master bedroom. According to these accounts, agents found a freshly dug tunnel with wet dirt on the walls and debris scattered about. As they ventured deeper, the narrow passage reportedly opened into a larger network, including 6 locked rooms that agents couldn't access, and multiple intersections leading to other destinations. The most sensational rumor ties these tunnels to the nearby Playboy Mansion, a property historically linked to Hollywood's elite and known for its own rumors of underground passages. Some reports even suggest connections to other celebrity homes, hinting at a secretive network for undisclosed activities. Adding to the intrigue, there are whispers of an underwater swimming tunnel leading to a mysterious grotto or an underground mansion, complete with tennis courts, indoor pools, and a ballroom spaces described as dystopian and terrifyingly isolated far beneath the surface, where help or communication would be impossible. It's important to note, however, that these claims remain largely unverified. Official reports and statements from authorities, as cited by publications like People magazine, indicate that while the Playboy Mansion was once rumored to have tunnels connecting to other properties, including plans for celebrities like Jack Nicholson and Michael Jackson in the 1970s, these were reportedly sealed off by the 1980s. Furthermore, there's no confirmed evidence linking Diddy's property to such a network, though his LA mansion does reportedly have a pool with an underwater tunnel connecting parts of the estate. Social media and independent sleuths have fueled speculation questioning whether authorities are fully investigating or possibly covering up connections due to the powerful figures potentially involved. For now, we must approach these stories with caution, recognizing they blend fact, rumor, and conspiracy. Raids on Diddy's properties, a dramatic turn. Beyond the tunnel rumors, a very real and public event occurred in March 2024, when Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's properties in Los Angeles and Miami as part of an ongoing investigation. Footage and reports from the LA raid, released by Misa Hilton, the mother of Diddy's son Justin Combs, paint a tense and militarized scene. Surveillance video shows armored vehicles arriving at the $40 million LA mansion, agents with guns drawn, and one officer redirecting a security camera to avoid being recorded. Inside, agents reportedly used drones to search the premises, while Diddy's sons, Christian, also known as King Combs, and Justin were detained. Christian with his hands against a wall, and Justin with hands on his head, before being led down a hallway. Another unidentified man was seen being dragged out onto the driveway. Misa Hilton's statement accompanying the footage criticized the federal agents for what she called overzealous and overtly militarized force against her son Justin and Christian. She argued that such aggression would not have been used if they were the sons of a non-black celebrity, raising questions about racial bias in law enforcement tactics. Photos of the aftermath show the brothers on the lawn as agents continued their search, underscoring the intensity of the operation. During these raids, speculation about tunnels resurfaced, with some reports claiming Christian was found in one such passage, though this remains unconfirmed by official sources. Evidence seized during the raids has added fuel to the legal fire. Federal agents reportedly found guns, ammunition, drugs, including substances in plastic bags, and Tesla-logoed tablets, testing positive for controlled substances, and items described as freak-off supplies, dozens of bottles of baby oil, platform heels, bondage restraints, and rope. Motivational messages on Diddy's bathroom mirror were also photographed alongside these troubling discoveries, painting a complex picture of his personal environment. These findings tie into broader allegations of misconduct and abuse that have long shadowed Diddy's public image. Legal battles and family involvement. The legal challenges facing Diddy have also ensnared members of his family, adding a deeply personal layer to the unfolding drama. Christian Combs, one of Diddy's sons, faces his own lawsuit for alleged sexual assault. A 26-year-old stewardess, Grace O'Markey, claims that in December 2022, at a yacht party hosted by Diddy Christian, pressured her to drink tequila, while intoxicated himself, then groped her, and attempted to force himself on her. According to her account, she resisted, tried to escape the situation by citing the need for supervisor approval to stay with him, and eventually led him to a cinema room on the yacht to sleep. There, she alleges he blocked her exit and continued his advances until someone interrupted. This lawsuit mirrors some of the coercion and abuse claims against Diddy, raising disturbing questions about learned behavior or environmental influence. Court filings in a separate lawsuit by Lil Rod Rodney Jones further implicate Diddy's sons, alleging that Justin Combs was involved in organizing the so-called freak-offs, private parties, with alleged sexual misconduct, and sourcing sex workers for his father. Additionally, documents claim Justin informed Diddy of Cassie Ventura's intent to release a video of an alleged assault, tying him to efforts to manage or suppress evidence. Another incident described in the filings involves a shooting outside Diddy's Chalice Studios in September 2022, where Lil Rod alleges Diddy and Justin instructed him to lie to police about the event, claiming it was a drive-by shooting to distance Diddy from responsibility. There are also troubling allegations about Diddy's relationship with his adopted son Quincy, originally the biological child of Kim Porter and Al B. Sure, industry insider Freddie P. and others have suggested that Diddy exhibited suspicious, possibly grooming behavior toward Quincy since childhood, keeping him unusually close and distancing him from his biological father. These claims, while unproven, contribute to a narrative of manipulation within Diddy's family circle. Even more unsettling are resurfaced clips and rumors about Diddy's interactions with his mother Janice Combs, including comments and behavior that some interpret as inappropriate, though these too remain speculative and context-dependent. The ongoing trial. Accusations and courtroom drama. Diddy's legal woes have reached a critical point with his arrest in September 2024, following the earlier raids on charges related to sex trafficking and racketeering. The trial has been marked by intense moments and serious accusations. Testimonies from Cassie Ventura's friend Brianna and others have detailed allegations of abuse and coercion, while evidence presented includes photographs from Diddy's hotel room on the day of his arrest showing drugs, baby oil, and weapons, and items seized from his Miami mansion during the raid. Courtroom drama escalated when the judge warned Diddy about attempting to influence the jury through direct eye contact and nodding during testimony, and action deemed as potential interference. This led to discussions of possibly removing Diddy from the courtroom, a severe consequence that would deny him the right to face his accusers in person, a fundamental legal principle. Additionally, controversy surrounds juror number 6, who provided inconsistent statements about his residence and family, leading the judge to consider his removal due to concerns of bias or an agenda. Diddy's legal team argued for retaining the juror, citing the need for diversity as one of only 4 black men on the panel. But the situation remains unresolved and has fueled calls for a mistrial. Diddy's defense has requested a mistrial multiple times, most recently citing prosecutorial misconduct. They allege false evidence was presented, including a claim that Diddy dangled a woman over a balcony in LA in 2016, which they counter with proof he was in New York at the time. They've also challenged testimony from an LA arson investigator about fingerprints related to a 2011 break-in at Kid Cudi's home being destroyed, accusing prosecutors of implying Diddy's involvement without proof. The defense argues this creates undue prejudice by suggesting Diddy can make evidence disappear, a narrative tied to broader claims of control and influence. The judge, however, has denied these mistrial requests, leaving credibility determinations to the jury and striking problematic testimony when necessary. Other incidents tied to Diddy, like the arson of Kid Cudi's Porsche in 2012, determined to be targeted via a Molotov cocktail, and a black Escalade registered to Bad Boy Productions, seen leaving a break-in scene, have been testified to in court. Kid Cudi himself stated he believes Diddy was responsible, motivated by jealousy over his relationship with Cassie. These layers of evidence and testimony paint a damning picture, though Diddy's team continues to fight for his exoneration, or at least a dismissal on procedural grounds. Reflections on a troubled legacy. As we process these latest developments, it's hard not to feel a mix of concern and sadness. For those of us who followed Diddy's career from his rise in the 90s with Bad Boy Records to his status as a cultural icon, these allegations and events cast a heavy shadow over his achievements. The tunnel rumors, while unconfirmed, evoke a sense of hidden worlds and secrecy that clash with the transparency we expect from public figures. The raids and legal battles reveal a personal life and family dynamic fraught with pain and accusation, while the trial underscores the gravity of claims like sex trafficking and abuse charges that, if proven, could redefine Diddy's legacy forever. For our generation who've seen countless scandals unfold over decades, this story prompts reflection on the cost of fame and the systems that often protect the powerful. We've witnessed how wealth and influence can obscure truth, as seen in past Hollywood cover-ups or even personal experiences where status silenced accountability. The involvement of Diddy's sons in these narratives adds a heartbreaking dimension. How does a family navigate such public scrutiny and internal strife? And what of the victims like Cassie or Grace O'Markey, whose stories remind us of the human toll behind the headlines? As mature observers, we might ask ourselves, is justice possible in a case so tangled with power and privilege? The speculation about compromised jurors or disappearing evidence like fingerprints in the Kid Cudi arson case being accidentally destroyed fuels distrust in the system. Yet the public nature of this trial, amplified by social media and independent voices, suggests that truth, however messy, is harder to bury than ever before. Perhaps our role is to listen, question, and support those seeking accountability while holding space for the complexity of human failings, even in someone as prominent as Diddy. A final thought and invitation. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the latest chapter of Sean Combs' story. I have strived to present these developments with care, balancing the sensational with the serious, and always keeping in mind the real lives affected. While rumors like underground tunnels remain speculative, the raids, lawsuits, and trial are tangible events that demand our attention and empathy. If you followed Diddy's career or have thoughts on how fame intersects with accountability, I'd love to hear your perspective. Let's keep the conversation kind and reflective, recognizing the weight of these issues. Till next time, take care of yourselves and those around you. Life's lessons often come from the hardest stories, and it's our wisdom that helps us navigate them with grace. As we've journeyed through the allegations against Sean Combs, from the shocking claims of underground tunnels beneath his Los Angeles mansion, to the dramatic Homeland Security raids on his properties, and from the serious legal accusations of sex trafficking and abuse to the troubling involvement of his family, these events do more than chronicle one man's potential downfall. They hold up a mirror to society, reflecting issues of power, privilege, accountability, and the hidden underbelly of fame that many of us have sensed, but perhaps not fully confronted over the years. For those of us who've lived through decades of cultural change, this moment offers a chance to ponder how far we've come and how far we still have to go in addressing systemic flaws that enable such stories to unfold. One glaring issue is the disparity in how justice is pursued and perceived. Misa Hilton, the mother of Diddy's son Justin, raised a poignant concern in her statement following the raids, suggesting that the overzealous and overtly militarized force used against her sons might not have occurred if they were the children of a non-black celebrity. Her words resonate with many of us who've witnessed or experienced racial bias in various forms, whether in law enforcement, workplaces, or everyday interactions. Over our lifetimes, we've seen the civil rights movement evolve, yet disparities persist, often amplified in high-profile cases like this, where wealth and race intersect. It prompts us to ask, are the aggressive tactics in Diddy's case purely about the severity of the allegations, or do they reflect deeper societal prejudices that still linger? Moreover, The rumors of underground tunnels and secret networks connecting Diddy's property to places like the Playboy Mansion, while unverified and often dismissed by official sources, tap into a long-standing fascination with the hidden lives of the elite. For those of us who remember the whispers of Hollywood's Old Boys Club or the secretive excesses of the 1970s and 80s, these stories, even if speculative, echo a truth we've sensed that power often creates spaces where rules don't apply. Whether or not these tunnels exist, their symbolic weight reminds us of how fame can insulate individuals from scrutiny, allowing behaviors, be they eccentric or harmful, to flourish unchecked. It's a call for us to demand transparency, not just in Diddy's case, but in all spheres where influence overshadows accountability. The psychological weight of fame and allegations. Let's also consider the psychological dimensions of this story, both for Diddy and those around him. Fame, as many of us have observed over the years, is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it offers wealth, adoration, and opportunity. On the other, it brings relentless pressure, isolation, and temptation. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, hinted at a change in Diddy's behavior after 2005, noting habits like smoking cigarettes and drinking that seemed out of character. While these are minor compared to the grave allegations of abuse and coercion, they suggest a personal struggle or shift, perhaps a man grappling with the weight of his own empire, or the expectations placed upon him. Then there's the toll on those around Diddy, particularly his family. The lawsuits, implicating his sons Christian and Justin in facilitating events or covering up incidents, and the disturbing rumors about his adopted son, Quincy, paint a picture of a family entangled in a web of influence and accusation. For us as parents, grandparents, or mentors, this hits close to home. How does a family navigate such public scrutiny and internal conflict? How do young men like Christian and Justin reconcile their father's legacy with their own identities, especially if they've been drawn into his controversies? And what of the emotional impact on alleged victims, like Grace O'Markey, who claims assault by Christian, or Cassie, whose years-long ordeal with Diddy is now public knowledge? These stories remind us of the ripple effects of one person's actions spreading pain or confusion to entire circles.